guy on the block until he comes from 6. Well, no, Paula is not. But anyway, Ed and I have this ongoing joke that we're not really going to say goodbye because he actually lives in our service area. So I thought maybe I could put him to work. So we need help in our nutrition site. And also maybe as a driver. This is a grocery bag that zips up, and maybe you can do some volunteer grocery shopping for some. And this is actually the real gift, and this is a gift card to the Chateau, because I know that you like to go.
I feel like the old one on the block here. I guess I've been around the longest, knowing Ed. Everyone has said a lot of wonderful things about Ed, and I would agree with all of them. I'm going to miss him terribly. I am especially going to miss hearing about Tom and Chris and trips with Doug. So here's some reading material, Ed, that I picked out for you, but hopefully you'll enjoy it.
She's not done, just the ending. And I think we've all said it, we'll miss you more than we can imagine. And I have a quote from Dr. Susan. You can see how I've degenerated over the years, from the English major down to the grandmother. But I think it really captures right there. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. Your caring a whole awful lot has made a difference in the lives of all of us in this room, in the lives of tens of thousands of seniors, and certainly in the network. We'll miss you.
Well, and I would assume, coming from your colleagues especially, waiting for a punchline, I imagine. Okay. Sorry about it. Okay. Our next guest of honor to come up here to the podium, it is Paul Dizialo. If I pronounced it wrong, I apologize. He's the president of Affinity Home Health Care. He was recently elected president of the Massachusetts Council for Home Care Aid Services, which has been the voice of home care aid services in Massachusetts since 1967. Affinity Home Health Care is a non-medical home care company and is one of South Shirella Services providers. We have many providers with us tonight, and we appreciate all they do. These are the people who contact to provide direct services to our homebound elders. As president of the Mass Council, Paul is representing the providers tonight. Come on up, Paul.
Well, I want to start off by telling you I've been censored. I've been told no jokes, you better talk clean, and I'll tell you, I've spoken to organizations to the tune of maybe 2,500 people in sales. And I have never been more terrified than every time I speak at South Shore Elders. They ridicule me, they cut me up, they make sure. Last time we had a Senate legislative meeting, and Sandra and Ed introduced me. And right before I started speaking, they go, how'd you feel if someone went, pretty bad, pretty bad. And then when I came here tonight, what did I do? I was escorted to my dressing room, which made me feel very good. They had a hand dryer in there. They had all kinds of other things, you know, a place to wash my hands and all that stuff. And I was standing here doing my little thing, and this guy walks alongside me and says, hey, who's this Ed guy? I turned around and I says, you know, this is my buddy. I says, who's this Ed guy? Well, let me tell you who this Ed guy is, because this is who Ed is. Now, I'm speaking right now as president of Mass Council, so I have to be really, really classy. then I'm going to be myself, no matter what my executive director says. Who is Ed? Let me tell you who Ed Flynn is. Ed Flynn, and a lot of these things have already been said, so I don't know where you maybe looked at my notes. Ed is a soft-spoken, astute man, a man of very few words. One of the phrases that he's well known for is, "I don't care who does it, just get it done." He follows the book to the T, but will always think out of the box and encourage opinions from other people. That's what made South Shore what it is today. Ed has never, ever said, "No, don't say anything." He always encourages you to speak. When he cracks that smile, you better look quick because it doesn't last long. You notice that? Ah, there it is. There it is. Take a picture of that. I want that on my wall. He takes his job very seriously, or should I say he takes his position very seriously. He respects the system and the purpose for serving elders in dignity and pride to keep them at home as long as he can. This is a lesson he learned from his grandfather. May we all learn that same lesson. He's approachable, personable, and a pleasure to work with. In his retirement, he's leaving South Shore Elders in real good hands. And that was his goal, to make sure he made his mark on a lot of people. And look around you, you sure have. I got some little side notes now that I'd like to say. I can't pick on Ed's attire because he's the gentleman warehouse man. You ever see him? And what does the gentleman's warehouse clothes say? "You're going to look good. I can bet on it." My glasses. You look good, Ed. I really like that one. I can pick on his moods because he's always the same to me. Bold and direct. Never lets me get away with anything. He's a man of precision. Always on time and dependable. Just like this evening, I had to come to a meeting one time at South Shore Elders, and unfortunately I came in late. Everybody was going out, and I was going in. And he looks at me, he says, "Nice going, DiZarlo, you're right on time." Makes you feel good, doesn't he? Huh? Makes that little fluffer inside you. Oh, God, I know I can't pick on his hairdo. Too many people have done that. He's like a Donald Trump. You know, everybody can pick on Donald Trump's hair. Can't do that to Ed because he has none. I really would love to stay up here for hours and go on and on and on and on what Ed Flynn means to so many of us. But I'm not going to take away the time that so many other people here want to present to Ed in a very fond way. But I want to tell you directly, Ed, and this is where I get emotional. That's why I wrote these things down. Ed Flynn, you are leaving us tonight, but you're really not. You've walked the pathways that we are all still walking. The wind has been behind our back because you put it there. You've given us the direction, you've given us the desire, and you taught us how to carry out the job in a professional manner. I'm extremely proud to say to you directly, you're a very good friend to have. Thank you. One last thing, if I may. There's a tradition with Ed and I, and a couple of other people. He tells me that he's going to be working around his house a lot. Dottie, make sure it happens. And I'm going to give him a tool to work with, one that he knows, and he'll understand where it's coming from. And this is that tool. So whenever time you pick up a tool to work, pick up this one and think of us.
Thank you, Paul. As most of you know, these are an advisory council that works very closely with the South Shore Elders staff and board. And representing the advisory board, our next presenter is Joyce Young. Joyce has been a member of the advisory council for more than 10 years. Joyce was the vice chairman for the advisory council for several years, and is now the chairperson. She actively participates in the board of directors meetings as a representative for the advisory council. I'm sure Joyce would love to come up here and make a presentation.
said earlier, there's going to be a toast and there's going to be a roast. And I'm hoping that the roast has happened because I'm doing more of the toast. So I know that there are a lot of people in this group that feel the same way that I do personally about Ed. So I'm going to give that speech, and then we can go back to Paul and all of his great, fantastic jokes and things like that, and Brian and everybody else. I thought a long time about Ed and shed a few tears, like I think a lot of others that have or will do after this. So I'm reading off of something because it is a personal thing. It has been a true honor, pleasure, and privilege to know Ed as a professional, and I believe I can say as a friend. I have volunteered with South Shore Elder Services for over 10 years. And in my prior jobs, I've served on several boards and several councils. And when I moved to my new position, or been there for 4 years, but when I moved to my present position, the only council that I stayed with was South Shore Elder Services. And some of that reason is because of the mission of South Shore Elder Services, the quality of services that they offer. But a lot of that is because of Ed. And I think all of us are here because of Ed. Under Ed's strong, competent, and capable leadership and his passion, South Shore Elder Services remains committed to the mission to provide quality care, support, dignity, and respect to our diverse elders. I heard 10,000, I don't know how many you actually serve, but it's amazing the quality, the number of people that are served under South Shore Elder Services and under Ed's guidance. To the elders, the caregivers, and the community members of the region, he has been a visionary. I've had the opportunity in the past few years, because of my parents, to kind of compare senior delivery models, and I am pleased to be part of South Shore Elder Services. Ed's leadership, dedication, perseverance, tenacity, and engaging presence, I had to put that in there, engaging presence, has moved this organization to a strong position as it is today. Ed has been the face and the voice of the organization and will surely be missed by me and by many others. As chair of the South Shore Council on Aging, Advisory Council, and on behalf of the members, I want to wish Ed and his entire family the best of happiness, health, and wealth. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joyce. And I think you're right. Ed is the face of South Shore Elder Services. I always said he had the perfect face for radio. I had to throw it in there. At this time, it's probably the people that work with Ed on a regular basis are the ones that maybe would have raised their hand when they said they saw him angry. We don't see him angry at the board meeting. Before I introduce Diane Sargent, who is a staff member, I think I speak for all of our board that every time you've walked into the room, you require the secretary to say, please rise. When you walk into that boardroom, that's a joke if anybody gets it. We've had a great working relationship, the entire board. Board members present, not present, board members that are alive, and board members that are deceased. We mentioned a number of board members that are no longer with us, but that you had a great communication with and a great friendship with as well. But the board did want me to ask the fact that they appreciate your board meetings, but when it was about a half hour into the meeting and it came to the director's report, it wasn't necessary for you to fill out the extra half hour if you didn't really have anything to say. Some of the members are concerned that if you come up here to speak, the crowd might lessen. But we do appreciate everything you did for the board. Diane Sargent is the Director of Corporate Relations. She has been with South Shore Elder Services for more than 40 years. Notice how if you make a mistake, they pick right up on it?
No.
It's 30. It's 30. Yes, I know. I knew I'd get your attention. You're right up here on that one. She started with the agency as a part-time information and referral worker and moved all the way up the ranks, much like the secretary did. And it's great to see the secretary move up the ranks as well. And the role of home care director, which she held for many years, Diane then went on to become the director of corporate relations. In this role, Diane works with local businesses and community organizations to help raise funds for the agency and develop relationships with the business community. Diane Sargent.
Well, I'm kind of mad at everyone because I've been in denial and you've all just turned out to wish him a good retirement. So I guess I have to get on board with that. Ed and I have been together for 20 years. It doesn't seem possible. It's been quite a journey. It's been a good journey. We haven't always agreed on everything, and I haven't seen him raise his voice, but I have seen his head get red when he's happy with what I'm saying. So just be alert. If it starts to get red, we're in trouble. I knew that he was going to be a wonderful director when he came aboard because he was only there a very short time when he promoted me to director of the home care department. So I said, oh, this is a great guy. We're on board with this. But it's been a great journey. Ed has been a mentor to me. He has been a friend to me. He has helped me all along the way. He's taught me compassion. He's taught me kindness. He's taught me so many things that I can't even say. It's just been a wonderful experience and an opportunity to learn so much. And I've had the privilege of having many different positions in social elder services, which has enabled me to grow and flourish with the agency. When Ed was the president of the Mass Home Care Association, I watched him. I watched him work with Al Norman. I watched him work with all his director friends, and I watched him work with the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. And I saw the regard that they held him in, always with such esteem. And when I go out in the community, which is what I do a lot now, and give presentations, it never fails, but people will say to me, oh, you work with Ed Flynn, oh, he's such a great guy. And I am always so proud to say, yes, I do, and he is a great guy. And didn't want to do this. He's been great. I know that the agency will go ahead with new leadership and do wonderful things, but no one can replace Ed Flynn, both at SSES, in my esteem. Have a good weekend.
Well said, Diane. Coming from the heart, that means a lot to Ed, I'm sure, and to his family. At this time, I want to introduce, true to his word, he said he would be here. Senator Joyce has arrived. He's here. I know that he has a very busy schedule, but we'd like to have him come on up. Senator?
So I have an excuse for being late. We just got out of the Senate, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. I've had the pleasure of serving the Senate for 15 years and 1 year in the House of Representatives. And I'll tell you, among the very best, kindest people that I've had the pleasure of working with is Ed Flynn. I knew Dottie before Ed. Let me put that differently. I met Dottie before I met Ed. She and I worked together at Boston Mutual Life Insurance Company. And when I left to join the legislature, quickly I had people like Al Norman attacking me. And he was just, a few hours ago advocating on behalf of all the home care people here. Oh my God, do you have a pit bull on your side? And what happened was, probably about 1988 or so, Mary and I bought the house in Milton next door to our parents, my parents. And shortly thereafter, my mother was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And, as kind of a young guy, my father was just truly unbelievable. He was truly unbelievable. And my sisters and all my siblings pitched in. Mary and I did what we could, but it was these home care workers who came into our home, into my parents' home, and allowed her to be, in her home for probably 5 years longer than she otherwise would have been able to. And so she was there when, we brought Jimmy home from the hospital, and she got a special relationship with my son Mikey. And so I was this young guy. I had more hair then. Ed's hasn't changed color since then. But I was all of a sudden I was into home care, and I got to know Ed Flynn through this interest in a thing that a guy, 31 or something wouldn't ordinarily have been interested in. And then through the years, with Ed being the real soft approach, Al, not so much. I became, really an advocate in the legislature for home care. And you have, right now, we're in the part of the silly season where we decide how to spend about $32 billion of your hard-earned money, and there's a lot of competing interests. And, when Ed Flynn comes to ask for something, it's not like some hired gun from, Philip Morris or something, or, some lobbyist that's looking to feather his own nest. It was always just Ed looking to do what was right by our elders, And Hubert Humphrey said we have a moral obligation to those that are in the twilight of life, our seniors. And Ed is really the finest example of public service that I could have met as a young legislator and then had the pleasure to work with for all these many years. I have incredible respect and admiration. And it's funny when you go, I also have to go to some retirement dinners. Dottie, I ran Ev Horn's retirement dinner from Boston Mutual. Everett B. Horn Jr., he was the whitest guy there ever was, and he quoted Martin Luther King Jr., and he said, free at last, thank God Almighty, free at last, which I thought was the best retirement line I ever heard. But, a lot of times people are at a retirement party and you give them the little golf clap and you move on with your life. But just being here for a few minutes, you can tell people really love Ed Flynn, and you can tell why. He's just an extraordinary guy. So there are incredibly big shoes to fill. An awful lot of seniors in this area have benefited from your leadership, your very quiet but extraordinarily effective leadership. And so we have, I know from Senator Hedlund's office, you had a citation. This is a resolution, and this is from myself, Senator Brian Joyce, but also from Senator Hedlund and Senator John Keenan, and we are the three that serve the South Shore Elder Services area. And it's from the Massachusetts Senate, resolutions congratulating Edward J. Flynn Jr. on his retirement as Executive Director of South Shore Elder Services. Whereas Edward J. Flynn Jr., one thing, by the way, can you believe this guy was in the Marines? I mean, would he be the most gentle Marine? I didn't. And then, what's the other thing? Build gingerbread houses? What's up with that? Edward J. Flynn Jr. is retiring as Executive Director of South Shore Elder Services following 37 years of dedicated public service, and will celebrate with colleagues, friends, and family at an event to be held on June 27, 2012 in the town of Randolph. And whereas Ed Flynn was born on January 2nd, 1945 in the city of Boston, received a Bachelor of Arts degree from Stonehill College and a Master of Arts degree in Public Administration from Suffolk University. And whereas Ed Flynn has devoted his life to public service, serving in numerous roles at the Massachusetts Department of Public Welfare and the Dorchester House Multi-Service Center, before becoming Executive Director for South Shore Elder Services, where he has worked since 1992. And whereas Ed Flynn's inclusive leadership style has made South Shore Elder Services an integral part of the South Shore community, and all who know him have been touched by his witty sense of humor and warm heart. And whereas Ed Flynn and his wife, Dottie, have been happily married since 1967, and are the loving parents of Mary Ann and Douglas, and grandparents, I think this is you, of Thomas and Christopher. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Massachusetts Senate hereby congratulates Edward J. Flynn Jr. on his retirement as Executive Director of South Shore Elder Services, and further extends to him its sincere best wishes for continued success in all his future endeavors, and be it further resolved that a copy of these resolutions be transmitted forthwith by the clerk of the Senate, signed by Senate President Therese Murray, Senator Brian Joyce, Senator Robert Hill, and Senator John Keenan. Ed, you're the best.